go into the game with some confidence, coming off the back of the Challenge Cup sort of run, but we'll also go into the game, fully respecting Rochdale and knowing that they're a very competitive team. And it's got to be a tough tie, and we need to be our best to win. And if we're not, then we'll get beat.
Well, Anthony, a big thank you for joining us. Before we get to the big league kick-off, I say league because your season started ages ago, didn't it, really, with the Challenge Cup? And you've had it was an impressive Challenge Cup run, beating Lee Miners, who are no mugs, beating Swinton and Hunslet, who you'd expect to be in and around the playoffs this season in League One, and scoring 30 past Sheffield, which ain't bad. So how's pre-season been before we get to the League One campaign?
It's been good. Obviously, we had a pre-season, obviously, has been really good, and that's sort of been highlighted with our, real, decent cup run. As you sort of touched over there, the teams that we beat, were tough games, but we come out on top. We've never had our full strength team out either in any sort of game we've played in the Challenge Cup with injuries, and I think the longer you go in the Challenge Cup, that's what happens with pre-season as well. You sort of pick up some injuries, but we managed to deal with that, which was really pleasing to show, a bit of strength and depth in the squad. And then obviously had a real decent run against Sheffield. So yeah, really pleased how it's gone. Not so pleased with picking up a few injuries, but bodies are slowly coming back now, and hopefully we can sort of take that sort of cup run sort of into the season, really.
And obviously, like you said, your squad was at full strength. You've got to imagine that the four teams you played, that they were mixing and matching at that time.
Yeah, definitely.
Well. So, but you must be pretty infused, let's say, and enthusiastic about the League One season now. You've got those 4 games played. Yeah,
definitely. Of course, we sort of, carried on how we sort of finished last season. To go to Swinton and beat Swinton, who were obviously tipped to sort of, probably win our division this year, was, really pleasing. Hunslet will definitely be thereabouts. I know Alan's put a real young, enthusiastic side together. And then to score 30 points against Sheffield was, really pleasing. Obviously, nobody wants to concede 50, but there was sort of genuine reasons around the game, what was unfolding. Sheffield had lots of possession and made most of possession, and good teams do. They're sitting 6th in the Championship at the moment, and we managed to score 30 points in them, which was sort of really pleasing for us to sort of see, where we're at when if you've got some ambition to maybe try and get into the Championship, as majority of clubs do out of League One.
And it's certainly, we could talk about pre-season and the Challenge Cup being a springboard, but last season certainly was a springboard as well for this year, wasn't it? I mean, how does the squad compare to what you had last year versus this year? Well, I mean, has there been much improvement, or is it steady as she goes?
No, I'd like to think so. The priority was to keep, everybody from our squad from last year, and the other people that left, the people that decided to retire, like Warren Thompson and Carl Ashall, they decided to sort of call it a day. Dante Samuels is gone into the fire brigade, so he's not going to be available for a considerable length of time while he does his sort of probation bit with the fire brigade, which is understandable. So it was massively important from a club's perspective and a coaching perspective that we kept the majority of that squad, and we tried to add a little bit of quality in there, and I like to think we've done that. But I'd like to think also as well we've given some opportunity to people who have been playing, in the community game. So we managed to get Harry Shivesbrook in, who was at Barrow, and Barrow were keen to keep him. So we've managed to get him over the line. He's brought some, different dimension to us in the outside backs. We've managed to bring Kieran Sherritt back, who was at Coventry. Kieran's, lots of experience playing at League One level. And, he was probably one of the better players at Coventry last year. And that's why they had such a good season. And we felt Kieran was a big part of that. So that was really pleasing to get Kieran back. Pat Rainford's come in, who was a hooker playing at Lee East, playing the community game. He's come in and really held his own and impressed. Paul Nash got some experience from being at Swinton, come through the St Helens sort of era, so that was, really pleasing to get him over the line, who's added quite well. Rhys Breers another, young prospect who was at Warrington. So, we've added a bit of a mixture there, I'd like to think. Some good experience and some good, youth and some community players who have sort of come in and wanting to possibly, see what they can do in League One. And we've managed to bring Scott Turner back to the club. Scott's been training with us now for a couple of weeks, and Scott will be, ready to go shortly. So, yeah, brought in some, good mixture, good balance, and hopefully they'll really add to Crusaders this season.
And off the pitch as well, still at Corwin Bay, some cracking attendances last year because of scheduling. You had to play a game on the Wirral, which harks back to the days of the Birkenhead Wanderers back in the when my dad was a lad. But anyway, I mean, how was preparations going off the pitch as well? Because there was certainly some exciting developments last year for the club. Yeah,
like Andy, our CEO, and the rest of the board of directors are really working hard and trying to make it work in the area. Not just as for the first team point of view on the field, but also locally and community teams. They seem to have a hand in what's going on around that area to develop rugby in that area, which is massively important, which also then creates more fans coming through the gate from those community clubs that you can try and set up there. I think we've signed a 2-year lease to be there, so our plans are firmly in place for us wanting to be there for the future and trying to sort of get into the championship, and that ground would certainly accommodate that. So yeah, off the field, the directors and Andy is really working hard to make it work and make it sustainable in that area, and it's really pleasing.
Let's talk about this weekend then, the big game up at Rochdale. What's your thoughts on this challenge? Because again, like Hunslet, like Swinton, you'd imagine Rochdale are going to be pretty competitive this year. So what's your thoughts on this one?
Oh, it's going to be tough. It's going to be really tough. A real tough opening fixture. Definitely Rochdale will be up there this year. I've no doubt about that. They might feel they probably underachieved last year. And they'll want to set that record straight and, be challenging to be in, those playoffs and wanting to gain promotion. They both players like Rangi Chase, Greg McNally at fullback. They've got some real experience in there and a good blend of youth. So it's got to be a challenge. And I've no doubt Rochdale will be up there this year, mixing for those playoffs. But so do we want to as well. And, we'll go into the game with some confidence coming off the back of the Challenge Cup sort of run, but we'll also go into the game, fully respecting Rochdale and knowing that they're a very competitive team. And it's got to be a tough tie, and we need to be our best to win. And if we're not, then we'll get beat.
And a final question, Anthony. We'll catch up obviously as the season progresses. But how much are you looking forward to the challenge of the League One season this year?
Oh, I can't wait. It's a fantastic division being, and for all the teams, some good relationships with coaches, good relationships with players, and it'd just be nice to, catch up with everybody again and, pick our wits against each other and, try to get in those playoffs. So really looking forward to it, and looking forward to going to Cornwall in August. That should be a good trip. And looking forward to see what West Wales bring to the table and what the Midlands bring to the table as well. Quite excited to see what they'll offer this year. They've been putting a real good team together, and like to wish them well. Hope it works for them on that change of area playing in and change of name. So good luck to them, and it's looking forward to a real competitive League One.